Imagine a peaceful, quiet neighborhood where the most difficult decision of the day is choosing which shade of flower to plant in the front yard. For Linda, a widow in her late 60s, it was about finding comfort after the loss of her beloved husband. Her husband, John, had always loved the simple things in life, tending to the garden, watching the birds, and taking care of their cozy home. After John passed, Linda found solace in those same activities. Every morning, she'd sit by the window with a cup of tea, watching the birds that came to visit her feeder. It brought her peace in the midst of heartache, a connection to the world that felt right. One afternoon, while tending to her flower beds, Linda noticed a bright yellow envelope stuck to her front door. She hesitated before opening it, knowing it was from the Homeowners Association. As soon as she read the first line, her heart sank. The HOA had issued her a violation for having a bird feeder in her front yard. The letter stated that bird feeders attract pests and disrupt the uniformity of the neighborhood. Linda was in disbelief. This was something her husband had set up, and it was a cherished part of her routine. To her, it wasn't just a bird feeder, it was a piece of John that she couldn't bear to remove. The letter warned Linda that if the feeder wasn't removed within 72 hours, she would face a fine of $500. Linda felt like she was losing her mind. She called the HOA office, hoping it was a mistake. The representative on the phone was unyielding, telling her that if the bird feeder wasn't taken down, she could face even stricter fines, up to $2,000, and eviction from her home. Desperate, Linda turned to her neighbors for support. Many of them had known John and understood how much the bird feeder meant to her. They rallied behind her, signing a petition to support her right to have the small bird feeder. But the HOA was unmoved. Linda decided to attend the next HOA meeting. She walked in, holding back tears, and explained how the bird feeder was a small source of comfort in her grief. She pleaded with the board, explaining the sentimental value it held for her, but the board was not swayed. The chairperson even told her that the rules were clear, and no exceptions would be made. That's when Linda realized she was facing a battle bigger than the HOA. She wasn't just up against a rule about a bird feeder, she was fighting for her right to grieve and find peace in her own home. Determined not to let this small act of love be taken from her, Linda hired a lawyer. The lawyer sent a letter to the HOA, stating that the rules the HOA had cited were not legally enforceable. It argued that the bird feeder didn't cause any harm to the property or the neighborhood and was a non-permanent item that could easily be removed if necessary. The letter also cited the importance of emotional well-being, especially for someone who had recently lost a loved one. The HOA board was not happy with the legal threat. They retaliated by imposing a $2,000 fine on Linda, claiming that her violation had been ongoing and that she was now in blatant disregard of their rules. Linda's lawyer escalated the situation, filing a legal claim against the HOA. The case went to court. The lawyer presented the emotional toll the situation had taken on Linda and argued that the HOA's actions were unreasonable and heartless. The court reviewed the evidence and found that the HOA had overstepped its authority. The judge ruled that the fine should be waived, and the HOA was ordered to pay Linda's legal fees. In a stunning twist, the court also ruled that the HOA's rule about bird feeders was vague and unenforceable, as it didn't clearly define what types of decorations or outdoor objects were prohibited. The judge ordered the HOA to revise their rules to be clearer and more fair. Linda's victory became a symbol of resistance. Her neighbors celebrated, and soon, the story made local headlines. The community rallied behind her, and even people from other neighborhoods began to question the rigid rules that many HOAs impose. Linda's fight wasn't just about a bird feeder. It was about standing up for what's right, for compassion, and for a person's right to live peacefully in their own home. The bird feeder remained in place, and Linda continued to find comfort in the little things. She sat by her window each morning, watching the birds that had come to symbolize not just her husband's memory, but her resilience. The lesson? Sometimes, it's the smallest things, like a simple bird feeder, that make the biggest impact. HOAs may try to enforce rules that seem unfair, but with the right knowledge and persistence, even the most heart-wrenching battles can be won.